Are you confused about Kotlin delegation? You're not alone. Many developers wonder how it differs from regular polymorphism. Today, we will clarify this concept and show you why Kotlin delegation is so useful. I totally get it. When you first encounter Kotlin delegation, it can seem like just another way to achieve polymorphism. But trust me, there are significant benefits that make it worth understanding. Let's dive into the specific question at hand. One user asked, what is the benefit of Kotlin's delegation when regular polymorphism seems to work just fine? They provided a code example that illustrates their confusion. Sound familiar? Let's break it down. In the example provided, we see a simple interface called base, with a class base_impl implementing it. This works perfectly fine with polymorphism. However, Kotlin delegation introduces a more elegant way to achieve the same result, reducing boilerplate code and enhancing code reusability. Stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand Kotlin delegation, but also see a practical example that highlights its advantages over traditional polymorphism. To understand the benefits of Kotlin delegation, let's first look at the traditional polymorphism approach. In this example, the user has an interface called base and a class called base_impl that implements this interface. In the user's example, they create an instance of base_impl and assign it to a variable of type base. This allows them to call the print method, which outputs the value of x. Now let's introduce Kotlin delegation. The user has a class called derived that uses delegation to implement the base interface. This is done by specifying base by b in the class declaration. The key benefit of delegation is that it promotes code reuse and composition over inheritance. In this case, derived can delegate the print method to any instance of base without needing to override it explicitly. Finally, let's see how this works in practice. When the user creates an instance of derived and calls the print method, it delegates the call to the base_impl instance, resulting in the same output. Fun fact: did you know that Kotlin was designed to be fully interoperable with Java? This means you can leverage the best of both worlds in your projects. Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. This user explains that Kotlin delegation is useful because it follows the delegation pattern. This allows you to keep most behaviors the same as the target object while overriding specific methods to change their behavior. For instance, they provide an example of an input stream implementation that delegates all operations to another input stream, but overrides the close method to prevent closing the underlying stream. That's the end of that answer. Let's see another perspective. This user provides an example to illustrate the usefulness of Kotlin delegation. They define an interface called mode with a color property and a display function. Two classes, dark mode and light mode, implement this interface. A custom class, myCustomMode, takes a mode object and delegates the display function to it. This allows myCustomMode to reuse the display functionality of both dark mode and light mode seamlessly. The user demonstrates how to use myCustomMode with both dark mode and light mode. By calling display on myCustomMode, it outputs the respective mode's display message. They also show that this can be simplified using Kotlin's by keyword for delegation, making the code cleaner and more concise. Here's a pro tip. When using Kotlin delegation, always consider the implications on your code structure. It can lead to more modular and testable code, which is a huge win for any developer. And there you have it. Kotlin delegation is not just a fancy term. It offers real benefits over traditional polymorphism. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more insights and tips on Kotlin and programming in general.